All right, our top focus in WION right now. Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff has said any nuclear deal between the United States of America and Iran will depend on verification of Tehran's enrichment and weaponization capabilities. In a Fox News interview, Witkoff referred to the maximum level allowed under the 2015 nuclear deal that Trump exited during his first term in 2018. It reminded Tehran that it does not need to enrich past 3.67%. That's the threshold. He said, in some circumstances, they are at 60%, in other circumstances, 20%. That cannot be, and you do not need to run, as they claim, a civil nuclear program where you are enriching past 3.67%. Witkoff appeared to stop short of calling for a complete dismantling of Iran's nuclear program, saying that this is going to be much about verification on the enrichment program, he told Fox host Sean Hannity. And I'm quoting again, verification of weaponization capabilities will be another critical point in the negotiations with Iran. That includes missiles, the type of missiles that they have stockpiled there. And it includes the trigger for a bomb, unquote. Now, Witkoff's remarks came days after a U.S. delegation led by him met with Iranian team in the first round of nuclear talks in Oman. Both Iran and the United States described the discussions as constructive. The multi-party 2015 deal that Trump abandoned aimed to make it practically impossible for Iran to build an atomic bomb, while at the same time allowing it to pursue a civil nuclear program. However, the latest International Atomic Energy Agency said that Iran had an estimated 274.8 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60%, nearing the weapons grade of 90%. Recently, U.S. officials said that they believe Iran could turn this fuel into weapons-grade material in as little as 1 week. They also said it would take Iran between a year to 18 months to build a nuclear weapon. However, some experts say a crude device could be built in 6 months or less. However, U.S. intelligence reports suggested that Iran has assembled a team of scientists who are exploring ways to build a crude nuclear weapon within months if the decision is made. And this as the head of the UN nuclear watchdog, Rafael Grossi, will arrive in Tehran on Wednesday for discussions with senior Iranian officials. And Grossi's visit comes ahead of new round of talks between Iran and the United States of America. During his visit, Grossi is said to meet Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, Mohammad Islami. And well, for more on this, we are now being joined by Dr. Paul Doffman, Bennett Scholar, Bennett Institute, University of Sussex. He's also a member of Irish Government Radiation Protection Advisory Committee, Chair Nuclear Consulting Group. Welcome to WION, Mr. Doffman.
Thank you.
Right, Dr. Doffman, U.S. President Donald Trump is seeking to limit Iran's uranium enrichment to 3.67%. At this point of time, what is the broader message that Trump is trying to give? And do you think that U.S. wants to dismantle Iran's nuclear program?
The U.S. doesn't wish to dismantle Iran's nuclear program. Iran is perfectly capable, and it's acceptable for the international community that Iran has a civil nuclear program. The point of the issue, the problem is whether Iran is developing a military nuclear program. And essentially, it boils down to questions of enrichment, as you've discussed. Now, it takes you need to enrich uranium to about 3.7, 3.8% for a civil nuclear reactor. Now, to get to a nuclear warhead, you need about 90% enrichment, although, as you said, with Iran's stock of 60% enrichment, some form of nuclear device could be stitched together. The key to all of this really is the US plan to try to move Iran's uranium stockpile to a third country. And the idea potentially is that that could be Russia, and Iran is already now in talks with Russia about this.
Right, Dr. Dorfman, the point you made there that U.S. plans to move Iran's uranium stockpile to a third country, according to reports, that third country might be Russia. Do you think Iran will resist that plan?
Yes, it's very likely that it will resist that plan. It's amassed its uranium stock over the last 4 years, and it seems to be saying that it's willing to keep its uranium stocks under the supervision of the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Authority.
Yes.
Largely because they're concerned about a further change of administration in the US. In other words, if anything changes.
Right, Dr. Dorfman, all this also comes, a statement by Trump's special envoy comes as Iran and US are slated to sit down for round 2 of talks this Saturday. How do you see this issue of Iran's uranium enrichment as a key stumbling block in the talks?
It is a key stumbling block in the talks. It's something that potentially the talks will resolve around. However, it has to be said there are wider issues at stake. Iran is suffering hugely under sanctions,
right,
and society is so it needs some form of settlement. Equally, the US doesn't wish for Iran to weaponize. So this issue about compromise, about collective thinking, about considering where we are in the world today is key. And it couldn't go on in a better place but Oman, which is known for its peaceful, thoughtful, considered outlook.
Right, Dr. Dorfman, Iran is also negotiating with US not only under the threat of future sanctions, but also a potential military attack by the US. And like you also mentioned, Iran also wants the US to lift sanctions. At this point of time, how do you see things moving forward?
It's said that there was an attack at Natanz in 2021, a Iranian nuclear facility. It's thought that Israel carried out that attack. So Iran is laboring under the dual threats of further sanctions and is very concerned about, and the world should be very concerned about, the possibility of a further attack on Iranian nuclear facilities, potentially by,
Right. Right, Dr. Dorfman, thank you so much for joining us on WION and sharing your insights with us on this.
Thank you.